Hey, hello. I'm here with you
Hello, Gail.
today with my dear friend Marie-Laure that I want to introduce to you. So Marie-Laure and I, we met like maybe 13 years ago when we were both in Miami. And last year she started a new chapter in her life, went back to France, she's French too, as me, and started studying naturopathy. And I really think it's very interesting for us to look at naturopathy today in this series I've started about self-care, because it's really a wonderful way to take a very good care of yourself. And I'm going to let Marie-Laure introduce herself now and tell us more about it.
Hello, thank you, Gail. Hope everybody's doing okay. Listen, I started studying naturopathy a year ago in January, and I will receive my diploma in December this year. So right now is the construction of my professional being for the next chapter of my life. I decided to go on this path because my background was more related to working with corporate,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved my job. I really liked what I was doing, but it was time for me to have another opportunity to be more grounded and slower with life. So this is where I started studying naturopathy, and that's pretty much it basically. And I can't wait to tell you more about it.
Yeah, so I think it would be interesting, Marie-Laure, to start by telling us what it really is, because I think a lot of us, we actually have an idea, but because I've been talking with you, I knew my first idea about naturopathy was actually very limited compared to everything it encompasses.
Of course, I can tell you a little bit more. So basically, what we know as type of medicine, we know the conventional medicine when you go to the doctor and they work on the symptoms. The naturopath will be working with you on the causes of everything that is going wrong with you, whether it's a pain, whether it's a disorder, whether it's emotional. So this is the work we're going to be doing with you. And the medicine is traditional, like
Mm-hmm.
the Ayurvedic medicine, like the Chinese medicine, and is recognized by the World Health Organization.
Okay.
So it is something very serious if people are still wondering. And we are based with three knowledges, let's say, we can call them like that, which are three pillars: food, habits, emotional, everything that is related to your psychology and emotional
Okay.
and emotions, and also exercises. I don't like to say sports because sports involve competition and a little bit,
I
of
get that.
pressure, but exercise. This is very important to keep that in mind. So it's a back to basics medicine, basically. We will be looking into those three pillars
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that everything is balanced with yourself, because it's an individual approach and a holistic approach to make sure you have enough vital energy to keep going where you need to go, or to go even further, because sometimes we're just tired, we're just stressed out, and we don't know, but it's little something that we have to change in either food, either sports, if you like to call it like this, exercise, or emotional work that you need to change. It's little something that we will be working, and it can make a big change. Little something to make big change. This is where what I like to talk about when I talk about naturopathy. Holistic vital energy.
Wonderful. I mean, it's right in our topic of self-care. And so I was wondering, my Lord, let's imagine I'm interested. I want to know more about naturopathy, and I want to start a relationship with you. How would it work? What is the way you are working with your
So the
clients?
way I work, if we go straight to the appointment part, right? The first appointment that we have together, it's a 1 hour appointment with the person,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go through a lot of questions. We'll start first with administration questions that will you know, that will be like the icebreaker, let's say. So we'll be asking your age, we'll be asking the address, all that. If you live in a house, if you have, you know, if you have pets, if you have a balcony, etc. We'll be like building up a little bit confidence. Then we'll jump in the real reason why you are actually coming, right? The reason of consultation. It could be anything, like I mentioned stress. It could be losing, gaining weight. It could be working out better with your timetable, you know, like being organized and releasing a little bit of the pressure, mental pressure you can have, whether it's at home, whether it's at work. It could be something that comes back regularly that is a little bit inconvenience, a pain that you have in your shoulder, anything. Whatever the reason is, we're here to listen to it and to understand where to go. And this reason is important to set it at the beginning because it's an hour appointment. So our questions will actually be driven with the reason you guys gave. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Otherwise, we can go wherever we want and it can last more than 1 hour. So this is important. And within the questions, some questions will not be pleasant maybe to hear or to answer. We're not asking everybody to answer every question. We're asking you to understand that the more we know, the better we can help you out. So we'll go through, like we mentioned, we said food habits from the time you spend, the time at what time you eat, the way you chew your food, everything, all that will be questioned into details. The same thing for exercises. What do you do? Do you do I don't know, do you bike to go to work? Do you walk? Do you take the stairs? Do you walk your dogs? Do you run? Anything that is related to exercise is interesting for us to know. Depending also on the reason why you're here, exercise needs to be either, you know, increased or paced down, because sometimes people, you know, run a lot, and sometimes what they need is maybe a little bit of yoga and something a little bit more calm. And we talked also about the psychological and emotional part. This is very important because we go through from your birth to today with all type of events that are positive, negative, doesn't matter. There are psychological or physical events that actually really, really, you know, imprinted in you. And actually you say, ah, okay, that traumatized me, that I liked, that, you know, boosted me a little bit, this happened. And we go through also pathologies within the family, the parents, the grandparents. We don't go too much into detail in that. It's also to know what's going on, and it's also related depending on the reason. If you come with hyperthyroidism problems, we need to know if there's a background. We need to be careful with that. Okay. And of course, we go through everything you actually intake as medicines. We need to know if you go and check regularly with a regular doctor, because we don't want to be doctors. We are not doctors. We're going to be here to actually make sure this whole body is functional and everything is going really well. But if you have a pathology and you have to take medicines, you have to have treatment, we need to know, because we need to make sure that whatever guidance we're gonna give you are compatible with what you are actually doing. Okay. And during this hour, of course, there's a part of negotiation with the person, and this is very important, because all the guidance we will be giving to the person will not work if the person doesn't like it. I can tell you to drink every morning a juice of beetroots. If you don't like it and it's good for you, you're not going to drink it. So it's part of negotiating. It could be this, it could be, like I said, I mentioned the runner that runs too much and needs to pace down and he's stressed out. And it could be also because his heart and rate level are a little bit too pumped up, and maybe he's doing that too late in the day, and we're asking this person to slow down, maybe stop running one day and do yoga instead, things like that. If the person doesn't want to, then we go somewhere else. We tell them, okay, instead of running, can you walk? Instead, walk faster, but walk instead of running. This is important because you can give whatever guidance you want to a person. If they don't like it, if they don't appreciate it, or they don't understand it, they won't do it. And that's not the goal. The goal is not to impose. The goal is to make sure that the person is actually in agreement with you to move forward, to get better. So that's pretty much, yes, what I wanted to say. Of course, there is something else I wanted to mention, the follow-up, which means that basically we will be sending a recap. It's an hour appointment. So during an hour, a lot of things are being said, and we give a lot of information. If you tell me, for example, okay, I drink, 1 liter of water per day, and I will tell you it's not enough. You need to take 1.5, etc., for this and this reason. So this is going to be also included in the recap, in the sum up that we send you. The sum up is based on the 3 pillars we mentioned: food, motion, and exercise. Okay, so it's always the same way of organizing the process. You receive it as a client about 3 to 4 days after the meeting.
Okay.
And sometimes, we talked about water, sometimes we can have a specific tip document, I call it, where you have an explanation why the water is important on the day-to-day. So everybody knows it's important, but we don't know how important it is, because the water has more power in taking toxins out than bringing good things in. So the better, the water, the best water you can have is the one that has less minerals, like that. It can take the most toxins in, it charges, and then release it. Okay, things like that. We will be explaining. I don't know if I tell you, okay, you're stressed out. What about lavender? You like lavender? You like the smell? Yes, you like it. Okay, what about essential oils? Do you know essential oils and how they work? Well, you can have lavender essential oil, like by your side of the bed, and every night, you smell a little bit, you put here, in your ear, and I can make a whole paper, a whole tip document about essential oils, why they work, how to use them, things like that. So this is an additional document that comes with the sum up, and
so
it comes
an educational also part.
Yes,
so you get some knowledge and
something,
so you really understand
yes,
why you are doing what you are doing, what is
exactly,
really important.
A highlight on the appointment, like, okay, you need to really do this, and this is the clear explanation of why you need to do it, and find more information also, because I put some links, so it's available in PDF. You can print it out, it's easy to read, and voila, basically. And that's it for the first appointment. And the idea is to have at least 2 follow-up appointments. Depends on the reason why you have the consultation. Whether you have someone that has a pain, or recurring pain, right, on the shoulder, it will be better maybe to see the person after 3 weeks of the first appointment, and then 3 weeks for the third. But if it's someone that really wants to change the whole organization of life habits, it can change up to 2 to 3 months. So the person can put in place new habits, make sure it's not too hard, make sure it's available. And still, I'm in contact. So of course, they can either email me or even text me if they have questions. But it depends on the reason why you come. But I think to see the whole evolution and improvement in a person, yeah, I would say 3 appointments minimum are required, indeed. Voila.
That's wonderful. I love the holistic approach of it. It really resonates with me, because in my coaching, I also have this holistic approach. So I think it's complementing really well that. I'm really, sensitive about the self-care topic. That's why we're here. And I think it's a wonderful way to take better care of yourself, to really have this time to have this diagnostic about, anything that you could do. And I know I've been also talking with you, sometimes it's little things that we can do that have a huge impact on ourselves, and giving us this time and opportunity to consult with a naturopath and really get something that is really good and natural for us is, I think, a wonderful way of
it's right there
of ourselves and giving us self-love. So
it's right there. The main tool is ourself. If we want to do it, it's here. It's everything is here. So it's easy and hard at the same time, because you're gonna have to change some habits.
And we know it's hard to change habits, but it takes your commitment and motivation. But when you have this, big why, like why you are doing it and where you are going to, it also makes it easier in a way. Like you have this motivation, and you can provide. You said you have this follow-up, so I assume you're also providing this accountability.
Yes, it's important.
To the plan and also notice the progress that they're gonna have while they are, taking these new steps and this putting in place these new habits. And so you were mentioning these techniques of yours. Are there anything you want to highlight or?
Yes, indeed. We have some techniques that are proper to naturopathy. So we talked about the food. It's very important, and because we like to start with this before going to anything that is what you maybe thought at the beginning, that is plants or infusions or anything. So first we go with the food. For example, we rebalance the whole habits of eating. I mentioned earlier, when do you eat? What do you eat? How long do you take to eat? So we go as far as chewing habits. Guys, it's 30 minutes for a meal. 30 minutes, not less. You have to chew everything. Otherwise, you're not going to take all the nutrients. You're not going to take all the vitamins, and you're not going to feel full. So you're going to actually, serve yourself a little bit more, because, well, basically you're still hungry. Well, if you take actually 30 minutes to eat your meal and take the time, just that is a big change. And I'm not talking about 30 minutes watching TV, discussing with someone, because it's easy, 30 minutes talking with someone. But if you try by yourself 30 minutes, it's a big challenge. Let's say 20 is a better one. Let's say it's the first good step, and then 30 minutes is the major one. But that was just an example. And when I say rebalancing, it can be you can have detox, right, with the food. So you have an example. I talked about the juice earlier. I talked about the juices that can be a little bit, well, sometimes depending on the veggie, you're like, oh yes, no, I don't know. Parsley is good, is excellent with the vitamin C for everything. So if you feel tired, juice of parsley, you can go for it. If you are a little bit worried about the taste, well, go for oranges, kiwis, just that. It's easy. And ideally the fruits before the meal, or at 4 or 5 p.m. That's the best way of taking your fruit. You have, for example, if you have an issue with the liver, for the detox, you can work with the artichoke. I'm talking about the food, the actual food. The artichoke will help to detox the liver. We have also the radish, the black radish is really good for the detox of the liver. So this is, this is something we can go for, because when you do a detox, well, first your organ is going to work better, and second, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more energized. And this is just punctual. You're maybe going to put a little bit more effort on this specific food for a while, let's say 2-3 weeks, if you can hold it, and you will notice a difference. Okay. And it could be also per nutriment. Let's say we talked about vitamin C. We can talk about vitamin A with the sweet potato. We can talk about vitamin K with beetroots. Vitamin K is good for coagulation, for the blood coagulation,
Okay.
right? So, you know, things like that. And this, I talk a lot about beetroots because there's a there's a reason. But basically, there's always a way to find what we see in food supplement complement, you know, the pills.
Mm-hmm.
We always have a way to find it in food directly, and that the naturopath will guide you and will help you out to diversify your plate, because this is something that can be a little bit tricky when we have habits, and well, we have habits of eating the same thing the same way. We don't know how to diversify. We're too busy to think about it. So that's one thing. And then, since we're talking about the food, what we intake, then we will talk about plants. If maybe the food is not enough to do the detox, then we'll go with the plants. Liver, 3 days. Rosemary infusion, 3 days max. That's it. And your liver is detoxed. Just that. We're talking about the intestines. If you feel that you're a little bit not too well, you know, at the bottom of your belly, you can take psyllium. Psyllium is really good. That you can do 1 spoon per day in a glass of water every morning. That's it for 2-3 weeks, and it feels better. Do not underestimate intestines doing good, because they are linked
The
with your
guts,
brain.
the power of the guts. Like we know now, it's
The power of the guts.
our second
Yes.
brain is there in our guts. Yeah.
So there's a nerve actually that links them. So we don't mess with the intestines. That's why I'm talking about it. The lungs, we can detox the lungs with infusion of eucalyptus.
Mm-hmm.
We can detox the skin with infusion of violets. So there are also plants that will help out. And then we can talk about the exercise. So another pillar. We talked about food, now exercise. So about exercising, we talked about this runner that needs to pace down. So basically, what we need to do, and this is what we do during the first appointment, is to understand what is the habit of the person, to engage the person in something that they like. It's always important that the person does and engage or keep doing what they like. If they feel good about it, they need to keep doing it, but they need to make sure it's balanced. It cannot be an excess of running. It cannot be, there's no such thing as excess of yoga, but it cannot be, you know, excess of collective sports, doing, I don't know, American football every day, training. It can harm yourself if you're not a professional,
Mm-hmm.
of course, but even if you're a professional, it harms yourself. But at the end of the day, the point is, and the goal is to have fun, sweat, and strengthen your deep muscle. This is what you need, because we only have one body. We have to take care of it, whether it's food or exercise. And then, well, for the emotional part, we have a lot of tools that are proper to naturopathy. We have the essential oils that are actually well known, easy to
Mm-hmm.
use, but we have to be careful how to use them because they're very powerful. So this also needs to be well guided
Mm-hmm.
by the naturopath to make sure that the person is aware how to use them. I wouldn't go to essential oils if the person is not aware on how to use it, nor is thrilled about using something that they don't know. Okay, we have to have this feeling of guiding the person where the person will actually adhere to to the technique. There are breathing exercises
Mm-hmm.
like the cardiac coherence and the square breathing. So these are different type of breathing. The square one is interesting if you have kind of a panic attack, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna breathe in during 4 seconds, hold your breath, and you're gonna exhale, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
during 4 seconds. Hold your breath, and again 4 seconds. So what it does It slows down everything in your mind because you're counting. It slows down everything in your heartbeat. And also all the oxygen and the dioxide of carbon that you're actually taking in and out. So it balances it. And you do that 6 times, you should be already rebalanced. Things like that are easy to put in place, and they're free. So honestly, I don't know what's the excuse not to do them.
Breathing is so important. I want to put the emphasis on that also, because it's such an help for us to just reconnect and be in this more mindful and be present in the moment, reconnect to our body and realign. So yeah, I encourage, always, I try to include that in my own coaching.
That's
like
wonderful.
Starting the session with a deep breath, expiring, slowly, and just like being fully present with us. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
wonderful. And you introduced me to the cardiac coherence breathing, and it's a wonderful tool.
It's a wonderful tool, and it's grounding. So whenever your mind is going everywhere and you need to settle down, it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes of pure bliss for yourself, because sometimes we tend to forget to take care of ourselves, even in a small amount of time. And other techniques are also CBD oil that are very well known for different purposes, whether sleeping, stress relief, or even pain could be very, very useful. And there's another one that is very dear to my heart because it's flowers. It's called Bach Flowers, BACH. They are 38 in total, 38 flowers. One emotion, one flower. It's easy. So basically, the way it works, you have to talk with the person how they feel and if they would put a word on their emotion and how they actually feel about the moment. Because if they talk about something that was past, it's not something you can actually, treat or guide them to work on. It needs to be in the moment. So first, you have to have someone in the present. Then this product works very easily. You have two type of products. You have one that has alcohol in it and one that doesn't have alcohol. Why it has alcohol? Because the primary way of doing the actual product is to make the flower be solarized. It's called like that. So the sun is actually heating the flower in the water, and then the alcohol, it's brandy because it's English. The brandy is actually going to be put in the little continent, the little the little bottle, and will keep the flower active. So that's why first the alcohol was used, but it couldn't be used for pregnant women. It couldn't be used for children, or it couldn't be used for for alcoholic, for AA's people. So whether you are AA or you're not anymore, if you want to use this product, there is one that works and that doesn't have alcohol and that use maple syrup. So it's something to know. 7 groups of emotion. All emotions basically pertains to you. So they are yours. And if you actually are able to identify them and take care of them, it really works. I just finished one. It's basically, it's called rock water. So I will not tell you what it is about, but basically it really worked for me to be, let's say, more flexible with myself, to tell you a little bit about it. How it works: 4 drops under the tongue, 3 times to 4 times a day during 21 days. You stop during 1 week, you see if everything goes well. If you feel it doesn't work again, well, it's coming back, well, you take this flower again. To make it easier, if you cannot think about taking it every day, you can actually put it in 1 liter of water. That goes with the water that is important to drink within the day, and you actually take it throughout the day. It really gives a very subtle and subtle taste. So it's not a problem. I've tried, because sometimes you're so busy or, you know, running around, you actually just wanna drink your bottle of water. And basically, this is it about the Bach flower, how it works, when you can take it, whenever you want to take it. If you have a trauma, if you have stress out, you even have flowers that can guide and help people quitting smoking. There is also a Bach flower that can work with when you stop anxiety pills. If the doctor told you to stop, you know, to have this period of you have to go down little by little, there's a Bach flower that will help coping with letting go with the medicine also. So it's very, very interesting to have this part in naturopathy, because it's basically one of the only products I've seen that works really, really well within, at least for me and for the people I've seen around, because I also gave it to some other people, and it really worked instantly and in the long term. It really took out of me like a big weight that I had on my shoulders, for example, on me. That was the pressure I was putting on me. So that's basically what I wanted to say
It's
for
fascinating.
this
I'm
specific
fascinated with the fleurs de Bach, if we say in French, Bach flowers
Yes.
in English, and I think yeah, it sounds even like, you know, like so poetic.
It's
So
very light.
just yeah, it's
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's very light. It's nothing that will knock you down. It's, you're just gonna feel it in yourself little by little. And of course, this is something you discuss with the person you have in front of you. If they don't know it, if they haven't heard about it, or if they don't even agree with this technique, you don't tell them to actually use it. But it is a wonderful tool, and it's working on a lot of people I've been giving it to. So honestly, it would be a shame to to refrain yourself from trying, because there's no risk. At the end of the day, what do you risk? You know, it's you have to try if you want to feel better and you have some new tools in hand. Why not trying?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marie-Laure, for sharing so much with us already. And I
I'm
mean,
sorry. Yes,
it's
I talk a little
no,
bit too
I
much,
love
maybe.
it. I love it. And so I wanted, so you started sharing actually with us what you tried with yourself and, you know, the people you've been working with. So is there more you would like to share about, you know, how it has been working
Yes,
for you and what was the benefits and so
yes,
people really see, you
definitely.
know, what is the benefits in working with the naturopath and
No, definitely, because before I actually started studying, I had a first consultation. I had 3 appointments with someone in Visio, and that was during the COVID time. I think that was the right time to start doing it, and it was related to a very long term issue I had with my PMS, and she guided me in making my life easier and better, to make sure that I could I could make it better for me every time it was coming. And she started with the food, with change of food. So Brazilian nuts, for example, which are good for selenium. She started telling me, okay, take 2 per day. By the way, don't take more than 2 per day. It's important. It's good. It's an antioxidant, so it's perfect for your body right now that needs to be breathing differently than you are doing right now, even though what I was doing wasn't too bad. So it's this. Then you have the perfect plate. You know what the perfect plate is? I didn't know until she told me. So it's half of veggies, a quarter of protein, and a quarter of carbs, ideally grains or whole wheat pasta, you know, and rices. I wasn't doing this, and nobody's doing that. And just by doing this, actually, I regained in vitality, in energy, and everything came back to me. And I was like, whoa, that's quite impressive. I introduced new food in also, no later than few days ago, I introduced a veggie that I couldn't stand, and it's actually wonderful that it's beets, and it's something that I was surprised. I was like, okay, let's try it anyways. What am I losing? And I'm happy to say, yeah, I'm happy to say I can introduce it back in my food habits. So it's also about diversifying your plate. She also helped me out on the exercise that I was doing a lot already, but I was doing it not the right way. I was doing too much. I saw, and not the right way. It was too intense at the time, or and then too many times, too many days I wasn't doing anything. So I had to rebalance this out and make sure I reintroduced a yoga routine at least once a day, closer to the PMS. And
Okay.
that was a key for me. Key. Like, I don't have any words to say actually, because it helped me out with cramps. It helped me out with the flow. It helped me out with everything. So that was wonderful also. And emotional, I like to put also in emotional massages. This is very important also, and it's also related to the reason of my consultation. When you take care of yourself, when you feel a little tired and you need to slow down, taking care of yourself is what you have to do at this moment. To listen to your body, to listen to the flow of your body. This is so important, and this is what it taught me, to listen to yourself. And when you need to slow down and your body is shutting down, and sometimes it shuts down quite violently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, you don't want it to shut down. You're like, no, I need to keep going. Well, no, you don't have to. You have to actually pace yourself and listen to your body and to all the signs that are given to you. So messages when you're tired, when you slow down, this is amazing also to slow down the pain, because it does what? It makes sure that the whole energy, the whole blood, the whole oxygen flows perfectly in your body. So when it comes to the pain and the cramps, well, all that is diffused and really, really slowed down. So that was important. Thinking about you and what you want and how you feel is number one key. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say about
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the first consultation. There are also two other steps, and how it worked. When studying, for example, you do a lot of introspection, and you realize that if you don't do this part at school, you cannot be, like we say, straight in your boots, right? You cannot be grounded, and you have to be honest with yourself. You have to introspect, even in places you don't like to go. You need to make sure you're okay with it, because it's going to come back right at you, right in your face. This is very important. It's important as a therapist, and it's important also as a human being. You need to take care of this. If you don't do it, it's an iceberg. You see this, but under, there's a pile of things that are gonna come up at some point, and they're gonna create big damage. So this is very important when I started studying. And the last part of it is how it worked for me around my friends and my family. First is to help them only if they ask you to, and to guide them wherever you can go. And it reminds you also that you can and have to lead them to other therapists if you're not the right one, such as relaxation therapist, psychotherapist, and life coach, for example. Because the next step cannot always be done by yourself and your naturopath. Sometimes you need another type of emotional help.
That's
Well,
wonderful. And that's my big hope, to be able to work with you.
I would love to.
Because it would be so wonderful to have it. I care so much about self-care, and I started all of that, and I love this conversation because I think that's the foundation of living a full life, is to take care of ourselves, and it's an ongoing job, like something we have to do every day and all our life. But if we keep this energy alive and we take care of ourselves, that's all we can really go for anything we want in life. It requires to also rest and take this time to take care of ourselves. And then we have all this energy that we can put in our lives, in the people we love, in going after our dreams. So it's such a beautiful approach. I was really surprised as you started, actually, you got into it and you shared with me. For example, you were mentioning the messages, and I had no clue actually that a naturopath was trained also in messaging and in understanding, the body and all this energy and working with it. So it's really a very holistic and comprehensive approach. And me, I see it as a coach, I see it as a wonderful also referral I can give to my clients when I feel like, and if they express that, their self-care and could be better, and they need some guidance in how to put set in place better eating habits, emotional care habits. And so I can work with them more on the mindset of it, and you will give them some tools actually that they can implement in their lives to really keep all of that going and be aligned. So it's wonderful. And I hope through this conversation we had together, I'm sure we raise the interest of people into what naturopathy is and how it can help them. And I will, of course, mention ways that people can reach out to you, Marie-Laure, if they want to know more. And because it's very important. And I want to say that Marie-Laure has been wonderful in sharing with us so many wonderful advice and things she's been applying with her clients. And it's, of course, the right way to do it is to have this personalized consultation, because we are all different and we have all personal, needs. And it's important just to work with a specialist to find your best way to eat. And so I think you could see how passionate you are about it, and this toughness of yours. And so it's wonderful. And I will myself get into it with you more in details. I've been applying a few things with the essential oils, but I feel I want to go also myself one step further after this conversation together. So is there anything you would like to add as we're gonna end this conversation?
No, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for inviting me in this conversation, sharing my point of view. It's a great chance. It's a great exercise too. And well, I hope yes, we can work together, and I'm sure anyways we'll keep in touch for further information and explanation about it.
Thank you so much, Marie-Laure.
Thank you very much, Gail. Take care.